My buddy Rory was going to Ibiza for a week.
Wait, what? What did you say?
Ibiza?
Yeah, you mean Ibiza?
Sure, Ibiza.
No.
Ibiza.
Ibiza.
Oh, so you didn't know what I was talking about? Is that what you're saying?
I did know what it, but I kind of assumed, but I was like, what did you say? Ibiza?
Ibiza.
No, but no, the first how you pronounce it before.
Ibiza.
It's not Ibiza. It's Ibiza. Ibiza.
It's also Ibiza.
In America,
Ibiza.
Ibiza. But but you say Ibiza.
Ibiza.
And you're trying to pronounce the TH like a Z, like a Spanish do, you know. The tha.
I don't think you're going to be able to correct me on this. This is
yes, I am. I just did.
Hey, people. Welcome to Standby with JJ and Francisco. How you been, Francisco?
Wow, it's been I've been good, bro. It's been a while.
Yeah, a little bit.
We had I guess what is it called when you don't do something? A hiatus.
Hiatus, yeah.
But it wasn't because we didn't want to be here. It's because we were traveling. We actually had to make money to come back here and do this.
Yeah.
So we were traveling. I was traveling, doing shows. I went to Vegas. I went to Chicago. I'm going to Miami. And then you were in Britain. You were actually out of the country.
I was out of the country. We were inspired at one point, weren't we? We were going to do a road. We were going to try to do a show like over Zoom or something. But you'd be amazed at how hard it is to meet up on time zones.
Yeah.
When you're like it's hard enough to meet up on time zones even when you want to call somebody, let alone when you want to do like a full podcast or something.
And also I think now we got some great good sound equipment right here at the Comedy Store, like now going back to that Zoom kind of like it's kind of like do we really, you know what I mean?
That's it. We've become podcast snobs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the audience also wants to be, involved with the, they want us to look good too.
Only the best for you people at home. Only the best, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, Britain was pretty good. That was about a month. I mean, it was weird. I was over there for a funeral initially. Oh. So mourned my friend and then picked up a bunch of gigs.
Wow. That's by the way, that is such a comic thing to like, hey, I'm going to go for a funeral, but can I still squeeze a couple of gigs in between? That's like when you're like a true comic where you're like, hey, I'm mourning, but I'm still gotta make people laugh.
I don't know. Can I get on stage somewhere? Like anywhere? I mean, I'm glad I can laugh about that now. I wouldn't have laughed at that idea initially when I went to Britain.
Well, because you didn't you got the gigs while you were over there.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you didn't get the gigs before.
I got it while I was up mourning my friend. I was doing the little speech.
Well, you got a text,
and I went and ladies and gentlemen, as we say goodbye to I just want to say I booked a one-way flight. It's open-ended, and if anybody wants to, I wouldn't dare. Luckily, that's a joke.
Or were you promoting your thing? It's like, dearly beloved, we're gathered here to let you know that our friend has passed. But also, I'm gonna, speaking of alive, I'm gonna be performing this weekend at the Comedy Store.
Come on down, 2-for-1 discount on drinks.
I'll just hit me after the show. I mean funeral. For the complaints. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm very thankful that these are jokes that he would actually appreciate.
Yeah. Well, because he was a comic, right?
He was a director and like he helped me with like my Edinburgh shows, a lot of my Edinburgh one-man shows and stuff.
Well, he knew like what we do.
He was a very funny guy. Yeah. Very funny guy. His name was Paul Byrne. Fantastic, and he's
rest in peace.
He was a lot of people's go-to guy in the industry. He did a lot of production of
cool.
hit Edinburgh shows and stuff. So
yeah,
after mine, I was his first.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and then just toured Britain for a month. After I got all the tears out of the way, and I tell you what, I did notice something that made me laugh every night, which is after working here in America for the last few years. So much I'm getting so used to comedians in the green rooms and dressing rooms at gigs talking about their air miles and stuff, and like, did you get the upgrade? Did you get this, or what kind of status are you at? Like what we talk about all the time, and that doesn't happen at all in Britain because of course Britain's not it's a tiny country, but there is still the conversations in the green rooms because everybody's like, did you get stuck in that traffic? Did you get out of London on time? So it's all about mileage and how long you sit in traffic in Britain, whereas over here it's all about status. Did you get your upgrade?
Yeah.
And
I mean, because you're also performing we have to go to like actual hour flights to get to the gig. Over there is what like you take like a bus or a train or something, and you could go in the same day, right?
Buses, trains. Yeah, you can frequently go on the same
it's kind of
day.
like, I guess, like being like a big New York, I guess. Like, what you do in New York when you're like performing from like gig to gig, but you take the subway, or you take.
Well, that's the way you can do London.
London,
I mean, London, but not the entire country. But I'm saying because the entire island of Britain isn't.
But I'm saying
York.
if New York, I don't know what's the size of England, but like let's say the size of the state of New York.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna go upstate to New York to perform, you can still make it in that same day. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
Drive 2 hours or whatever it is. Or
if you think about like if you go Brighton to Edinburgh, I would say it's about 8.5 hours to drive from Brighton to Edinburgh, and that's the top and bottom of the country, unless you're up in the Orkney Islands or touring the Highlands of Scotland.
So how was performing over there? Did you because you haven't performed there in a while, so like was it the same that you remember, or was it different because you've been performing here?
Well, it's only been a couple years. I did Edinburgh. I did a show at the Edinburgh Festival called 5 Times I Lied to Myself in 2019. But I guess that would be the difference is when you're doing a one-man show, you're really stressed about the format and the structure. And like it was work. Like I think about 2019, and like I was over there for 5 months, and it was all working towards that final Edinburgh show. And actually, once I got to August, I was exhausted. So there's something about, once again, aside from mourning the loss of my friend, there's something about being over there this time that I had nothing. I had no plans. I didn't have a one-man show I'm working on or anything like that. So just going off the seat of your pants at the Comedy Store and stuff like that, and just riffing with audiences, it's a lot better, isn't it? It's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot more fun when you're like, I have a structure. Everybody, let me get my structure out.
Well, I think that's the key. I think with everything, not with comedy, but with everything in life. I mean, it's like you gotta have like kind of like a loose outline of what you have, of what you want to do, but don't be so stuck with it, because then so you can have fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it is kind of that thing of like, where you're like, it's kind of like traveling or like doing something. You got like a plan. Like I was talking to, I was asking me this friend was asking me about Italy when I went to Italy, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I just stayed in the big cities that I visited like a couple of days because I wanted, because also there were like a couple of things that we wanted to do, but then everything else was like, let's see what happens. You know what I mean? Right. Because that's how you enjoy traveling, life, everything. You can't just be stuck to the thing. Yeah.
Talking about that, like if you pick one thing a day, and that's enough of your structure. So you crush that one thing, and then everything else can be flexible wherever you end up.
And those are the fun things when stuff like, we went to, we went to this thing that we weren't planned, we wasn't planned to go to. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like stuff like that. I think those are the cool things.
Be a big thing in a partnership. Like you and Brooke, are you the same kind of people? Are you guys like one structured thing, everything else spontaneity? Or because sometimes they say in a couple, one person has to be full structure and the other person is
I'm more like the structure guy, or like organizing stuff, but I learned to to be more flexible.
Okay,
so it's kind of like, I do like to have, I'm not to the point of like, I'm gonna get someplace and just kind of like, we'll find out where we're gonna sleep that day. No, I don't like that either. I need to know where I'm gonna stay. You know what I mean? I need that stuff like that. I'm talking about like just
that's a big one.
Yeah, but for me, I mean, I mean, some people we'll just, no, I don't like that. I'm like, I want to go, like those stuff I want to plan. I'm just talking about when you're there already, and then you're like, let's say you want to visit some museum. I mean, that's the thing for the day. Yeah. And then whatever else happens, but that's the plans that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like not knowing anything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I definitely, and you just struck a chord with me there when you were saying that like knowing where you're going to sleep and stuff like that. That's a thing that's how we age as comics, isn't it? Because as I was touring Britain, like kind of spontaneously, if I found myself up in Liverpool or something, then sometimes I have friends who are like, I have a couch. I'm like, I'll be okay.
Yeah,
I don't.
At that point, you're like, no, I mean, like,
yeah. Let's hang out. Let's hang out and party. But I'll get a hotel down the
course.
road from your place,
Yes.
and it'll be okay.
And
I'll
also,
see you
like,
for breakfast too.
Yeah. Also, you have to have that privacy, man. Like, I think it's like that's cool when you're like young, really young, and you're just, who cares? You just want to save some money, whatever. You don't really care, but like. Yeah, when you get older, you're like, fuck. I don't want to be like be quiet. I can watch TV or I can do my thing. Yeah. You gotta jerk off too.
You gotta always have that little spontaneous jerk off budget free.
You can't jerk off in your. Well, you could in your friends. I mean, like quietly. It could be a quiet masturbation session.
You ever have a house guest and they're like, "So when are you gonna be back?" You going out for a bit? And you're like.
Yeah.
You gotta tell them that you'll be home sooner than you are.
Yeah, no.
Like, I'll be back in 20 minutes. That's surely not enough time.
And also, I feel uncomfortable too because I'm always like, you're kind of disrupting their schedule in a way. So I'm like, especially for us comics, like if I'm staying in a place, I mean, unless it's like a really good friend and they already know what I do and stuff like that, and then it's like different. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna obviously come back home late because I'm doing gigs, and like you don't have to stay with me, stuff like that. But it's still, it's kind of, you gotta be really good, you can't just,
you're on other people's territory.
Yeah, for sure.
I did spontaneously have to get a hotel for a few days towards the end of my trip because I actually I got COVID.
Oh wow, okay, you got the English COVID.
I guess so. I got the English strain, which is
strain.
Too lazy to...
Which is more polite.
Lazy to really make me under
It's
the
more
weather.
polite. You got COVID.
I love how you think the British are more polite.
Well, I guess
I think
English,
that's just their reputation, but they're actually quite cutthroat.
Yeah, I guess the way that you see it on, how they talk is kind of like
that's right.
More like, but it's because
you're led to assume they're a whole country of Hugh Grants.
Yes, kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and instead they're a whole country of Vinnie Joneses.
Which one's Vinnie Jones?
Vinnie Jones, that big footballer. He had a short movie career here.
Yeah. I know.
I'm sure he's still around. But
Yeah.
He's rough.
You're rough. So you got COVID.
But so I got I got COVID in the end. I was about to say I lost some work because of it, but I didn't have any work in the first place. So I lost work that I had just picked up by getting COVID. I had to cancel a few gigs and spontaneously move out of my friend's house.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any symptoms. That's the thing. You got really sick when you caught COVID.
No, not really sick. I mean, I felt. No, I got symptoms, but I never got like really sick.
Oh, I was under the impression that you were run down.
No, I got like the same symptoms as when I got the vaccines. Kind of like lethargic. Like not having energy and stuff like that.
Okay.
But luckily I never got like really sick or like I had a fever or shortness of breath. I didn't get that.
Okay, well that's basically I had zero symptoms. I had a scratchy throat and a bit of cough initially, like not even for the first day. It was just there, and then I tested positive. And then I couldn't shake the thing, so I had to move out of my friend's house, go to a hotel. But then luckily my buddy Rory, shout out to Rory, bailed me out because he was on his way to Ibiza for a week. So he let me stay.
Wait, what did you say?
My buddy Rory was going to Ibiza for a week.
Wait, what? What did you say?
Ibiza?
Yeah, you mean Ibiza?
Sure, Ibiza.
No.
Ibiza.
Ibiza.
Oh, so you didn't know what I was talking about? Is that what you're saying?
I didn't hear what but I kind of assumed, but I was like, what did you say? Ibiza?
Ibiza.
No, but no, the first how you pronounce it before.
Ibiza.
It's not Ibiza. It's Ibiza. Ibiza.
It's also Ibiza.
In America,
Ibiza.
Ibiza. But but you say Ibiza.
Ibiza.
And you're trying to pronounce the TH like a Z, like a Spanish do, The tha.
I don't think you're gonna be able to correct me on this.
Yes, I am.
Nah.
I just did.
Hey, look, I've heard the song where they go, "We're going to Ibiza."
No, it's not Ibiza.
Yeah, that's what they say.
No, Ibiza.
Ibiza. Yeah, I think we'll have to.
All right. Well, this is gonna be a good one to use for Also
What, for
people
correcting
'cause
the
also-
dialect
no,
of-
because I also want people to go like, what? How do you? Who's right? Me, who speaks Spanish,
or me, who pronounces letters. No, I don't mind. I've heard the song. I remember hearing the song when I was, what was it? It was like, it's the same band that does "I'm a Barbie Doll." Do you remember that? Come on, Barbie.
yeah, of course.
And
Aqua,
they-
yeah. Come, welcome
they go-
to Ibiza. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm well
It's not,
aware.
but you said Ibiza.
I did.
Yeah, so
and
you
you
said
asked
it-
me to keep repeating it as
Because
well.
I wanted to see what you, but it was wrong.
Well, okay, but half the world has it wrong.
No, I think everybody pronounced Ibiza.
Do you think I'm the only one who's ever said it that way?
It is actually.
Am I, ladies and gentlemen, can you please write in and let me know, am I the only person who's ever pronounced it that way? 'Cause
It's
I'm
the
pretty
first
sure.
time I heard somebody go Ibiza.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. How do Americans usually say it?
Ibiza.
Do Americans...
What? I don't know. We can't hear you,
Yeah.
but like, how do you would pronounce it?
Do you want me to look it up? Because I don't know. I don't have a clue what you guys are talking about.
But you don't know Ibiza? You don't know that's like a party town in.
Yeah.
I mean, look it up how people pronounce it, but I'm telling you, it's in Spain, like off the coast of.
For this segment of the podcast, we're just going to go Francisco and JJ discuss enunciation and pronunciation
Yes.
for 20 minutes and then return to the...
Yes, this is actually good. Yeah, this is good.
We're going to eat pizza.
No,
That's how
you're
I
eating
remember.
pizza now. You're saying eat pizza.
Yeah, I was doing that
Oh,
as
okay,
a
as
joke, dude.
Okay. Ibiza.
Is it I-B-I-Z-A?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but like you don't. But he's pronouncing the I like in American, but it's you got to pronounce the I like in Spanish, which is E.
Ibiza.
Ibiza.
There it is.
Ibiza.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eat pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you say I. You started with the I. You know, which is that's my main thing.
Yes. Okay. So I was obviously.
Well, it's kinda
should
saying
I
like-
blame it on my friend? I'll blame it on my friend.
It's kind of like
he's the one
saying
that was gonna-
like in Arkansas, which is a state.
Arkansas.
But in Spanish, it would be Arkansas, which that's
Yeah.
not how it is. It's Arkansas.
Okay.
I got something.
We can further this
All right.
discussion later.
So, well, then I'll
Oh no. Go.
No.
Go. 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 Go.
conclude. The TH pronunciation of the letter Z is how Spanish speakers in Spain pronounce the letter.
Yes.
Ba-boom! That means I'm right.
No, you're not.
Someone in Spain would refer to the island as Ibiza,
Yeah.
Yes.
even though they'll still spell it as Ibiza.
Of course. No,
Yeah.
no. I
Yeah.
was never criticizing you the
Okay.
TH. I was criticizing you the I. You say Ibiza.
This would actually
It's
be the
Ibiza.
original pronunciation.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm all right. I'm off the hook then.
No, you're not. You
Yes,
say
I am.
Ibiza.
Ibiza.
No, now you're saying it right.
I say it both ways.
Nah.
It also says that British people say it. It's saying it that's how British people say it.
How Ibiza?
It says, why do British people pronounce Ibiza as Ibiza?
No, but
Thank you, world knowledgeable
no.
guy.
You say.
Yeehaw!
Well, the tape is there. You'll see how you say Ibiza, and that's what I went wrong. You know.
Right, but he just said that's how British people pronounce it.
Okay.
And they live closer to it, so I think that they can be correct.
Yeah, nah, I don't think.
They get to be correct.
No. So
So
what were we
anyway,
talking about?
he was going to this Spanish resort island.
I'll say Ibiza.
I don't know what you're talking about. For a week, and he let me stay and
okay.
whatchamacallit, quarantine at his place.
Nice.
And then,
Nice.
but it was tight, man. It was like I didn't test negative until the morning of flying my flight out.
Wow.
Yeah,
Took a while.
yeah. It
Well,
was,
that's the thing. It lasts less. How long? It lasts.
that
You
was
know.
about 7 or 8 days.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
but
yeah.
super shitty when you're like
When you can't do stuff.
conversing and everything. Yeah, and you gotta. And I had to cancel these. I had
Yeah.
to cancel.
Well,
some
at least
gigs
you
and-
didn't get crazy sick and had to go so that was good.
Yeah, that's a
It's
bonus.
better to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take that than.
At least I was in that. At least I was in Britain where the healthcare is.
That's true. That's another thing too. So at least
Yeah.
that's the way to get it over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's cool. I'm glad that you didn't. That. And now you're back. Now you're back, and you're. Did you get slapped in England?
Did I get attacked on stage or anything? No.
Yeah, slapped. on
I did
stage,
arrive
so.
home. In fact, you make me think of my British gigs now. I don't even think we got heckled once. I don't even think there was one heck. I had to walk out for I did offend an audience member in London for. I told her I came to the stage at the start of my set.
Mm-hmm.
She was putting stuff in her handbag, and I told her I would wait. I said, "Oh, I caught you off guard. You haven't quite got your things back in your bag yet." And then I started the show, and she just got up with her friend, and they were offended. And I had to, and like her husbands were left behind, and I was like, "What happened?" And the husband was like, "Oh, she doesn't like being talked to." And I was like, "Holy cow! It wasn't even mean or anything."
Yeah.
And they're sat in the front row. I just thought it was being playful, and they
Yeah,
were like
yeah,
up
yeah.
and so sometimes you don't know, but that's all that happened in Britain. But I did get back just in time for the slap. Just in
Okay.
time
Oh,
for
you
the
were here
shocking-
for the slap.
It was the night I arrived back in
Ah.
London because
It was
in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay,
'Cause-
okay.
Because I didn't even have my I don't have cable, right? I canceled cable before I left for Britain because I didn't know when I was going to come back. And,
Yeah, no, who has cable anymore?
I don't know, but how are you going to watch basketball, man?
Well, now you can just buy any little thing. So it's like you can just have
Can you buy-
internet, like Wi-Fi, and then you can just have purchase ESPN by itself, purchase this, purchase that,
I don't
I
think
mean-
you can though.
Well, there's also you can
You can get
like
ESPN
normal
Plus,
channels. Oh yeah.
but you
Well, there's
can't-
also like the main channels like YouTube TV and stuff like that, or that you can. It's kind of like semi-cable, but it's not. Cable.
Yeah, because I got Hulu, but
Exactly.
Which can I just say, Hulu has live sports
Yeah.
where they recruited basketball players like Giannis
Yes.
Antetokounmpo
I've seen the
and Dame
commercials.
Lillard. They recruited all of them to go. Hulu has live sports,
Yeah.
and then if you get Hulu,
No live
they,
sports.
they don't have those. They don't have basketball games that involve.
That's crazy.
They don't have the live sports that involve all the athletes, all the
Wow.
professional athletes that they paid to advertise. They have live
That's
sports.
crazy.
Yeah, if it's some obscure shit, you can watch like MLS soccer
Yeah.
or anything that's on ESPN in other countries.
Yeah.
Canada's ESPN, you can get yourself some hockey. It's like Spain's ESPN,
Yeah,
you probably
yeah,
get some football.
Yeah.
It's Hulu, you're full of shit. That's all I have to say about that.
All right.
But,
Well, obviously we're not gonna get sponsored by them. Thank you, Hulu. I'm good. Yeah, I like you. I'll watch you even with the commercials.
they've got my fucking money, man.
All right.
They've got my money, but now I gotta consider getting cable as well because I can't even get basketball playoffs. Which, by the way, congratulations on
yes.
winning. Francisco Ramos, 2 years in a row, right?
Yeah.
Francisco Ramos, 2 years in a row, ladies and gentlemen, has won our basketball pool. Which is
you.
and it's no small feat either. It requires drafting and dropping and paying attention to your roster every friggin' day, which is not my bag, but crushing it. You
But
crushed it, man.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, well, it's not that. I don't find it as hard as it is as like. I don't know, because first of all, like I watch a lot of basketball, so like it's not like I'm doing any studying like statistics or anything like that. So it's just more about like what I watch and what I see,
Yeah.
and that's it. And that's it. I'm just paying attention to that. But I don't feel like it's such a hard work, like I don't know, like what I would think like fantasy baseball. I mean, that's like I feel like that's a lot more work. Or
I
something.
feel like
don't-
all these fantasy sports are a lot more work. I'm a fan of playoff pools when you have to try to pick the teams that will make it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
therefore, if you pick the players on the teams that make it, then you're in the running for the victory.
Yeah.
I kind of like that stuff. But I have trouble with this adding and dropping and keeping track of who's injured and
Yeah,
who's
but it
what.
tells
I
you.
don't have the time.
It just tells you.
It does tell you.
I mean,
but
it
I'm
literally, it's very easy. It tells you, hey, this guy's injured, and most of the times you can do the lineup. You don't have to change it. It's a weekly lineup. You don't have
Yeah.
to like change like
Well, I
every
did all.
day.
I mean, I'm middle of the pack.
Nah,
I'm consistently.
won.
I know you won. I owe you $5.
no, it was more than that.
I thought it was 5.
It was 10, and it was 20.
I thought. Oh, well. There you
Wow. Okay, nice. Cash.
go. There you are.
This is good for rent.
brother.
The musical.
That's right. I'll buy you some
That's what he
popcorn
said.
tonight.
This is for, I'm gonna send a picture of you with and be like, thank you, JJ.
Should we do it? Should we hold it like do it an official like?
Oh yeah,
Turn over and Tony, you want to take a photo of there?
No, just gotta be like that.
It's like evidence. Oh right, is that how it works? We probably should have done that. We could do it. Oh man,
That's actually felt like I don't know. We're like jumping from tangent to tangent, but like,
Yeah.
this actually felt like, I don't know. I've been watching and I really like the show Winning Time, the Lakers, the
Oh,
HBO
right.
one. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've seen it.
I haven't seen it yet. No.
Really, really good. So I just felt like that picture looked like the 80s,
was
like
that-
when you were signing like the Magic
got the
Johnson
big draft
signing,
pick
like
and-
yeah, like looking at that. So that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But it was yeah, it's really good. So you should watch it. I'm not gonna talk about it.
I
until
will
we
for
watch
sure
it.
check it out. So yeah, I guess before we went on the basketball tangent and the television tangent, the reason why I was saying that I had canceled my cable. So on Sunday I get back and my phone just started ringing off the hook. Actually, various people and other comedians
Really?
going.
My phone was very quiet.
during the slap.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, what? But
Oh, mine
why
was-
were they people like? But they were hitting you like you were part of the Will Smith like.
No, they were
PR?
just hitting me up to see if I saw what
Oh,
had just
got it.
happened and like
Well,
know.
I guess I mean just a little group chat, but nothing else.
Oh right, yeah. No, I got several phone calls and people asking for my opinion and stuff and like
Got
and then
And what is your opinion?
what is my opinion?
Ooh.
Stop attacking comedians for jokes.
Yeah, okay.
It's a pretty bog standard.
Yeah.
And
well,
hey,
also,
and hey,
yeah.
don't drag me for my race on my own social media.
Wait. What?
Yeah, I had to block some people.
For what?
So for me being
Because
white,
because yeah, I mean the whole point is like I think the main thing is like like no matter if you don't like anything or not, and if you're trying to defend anything or anybody, like violence is not the thing. Like if you can, there's a million ways to be like I didn't like that joke or whatever to say to protest something, if you
Yeah.
don't like it, but to go and hit somebody for no reason, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's a comic. It could be, you can't just go and do that. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, there was only one crime committed.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
And he even admitted. He said, I shouldn't have done. I mean, it's not like he's like,
Yeah.
like saying like, oh, he obviously know that he did wrong. I mean, everybody knows
Yeah.
that he did wrong,
Well, some people have had trouble coming around to realize, some people have done the whole, but words are violence. So what Chris Rock did was throw the first stone and all that kind of
but
stuff. You're
like,
oh,
no,
come
no.
on.
I mean, there's a lot of worse things that people have said to a lot of other people, and like,
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's like, and it was never a thing to like, where he could have easily go up there if he wanted to. First of all, he even did it like in reverse. Like he went and slapped him, and then he started yelling. You usually the normal reaction is to go like, "Hey, stop bothering me! Hey, stop bothering me! JJ, stop bothering me! JJ, I told you to stop bothering me. Stop saying that. It's annoying me. JJ, I'm gonna slap you." He didn't even say, "I'm
Yeah.
gonna slap you,"
Yeah.
which is the second tier of like, "I'm gonna slap you. Stop! I'm gonna slap you." Nah. He just jumped,
You're right.
and then he was like in reverse.
He went all the way to DEFCON 1
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. no,
Which is that shows you where his mind state was not really good, because especially knowing that you're gonna win an Oscar.
Yeah.
That's like, to me, that's the most like crazy thing. Knowing that you're gonna win an Oscar, knowing that it's your night, and you go and ruin your whole like
Yeah. And you
night
behave like
for
that.
which
Yeah.
also has to do with the ego. How the ego was like so huge there that you think and you're like, well, I'm gonna win the Oscar, so I'm allowed to do
Yeah.
everything, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
None
I
of
don't-
yeah, it's hard to understand what was going through his head.
Yeah.
But that was not a.
Yeah.
I would like to think that that's not the way most movie stars are just before they're about to win an award. There's just that feeling of that tension, and they don't know how to.
No, I
behave,
could
and
see
they're
how
think-
you're like excited and nervous and all this stuff.
Yeah,
or like,
but it shouldn't manifest itself
of
in an
course,
assault.
Of course.
You
Well,
know.
I mean, I feel, and I mean, this is not my take. I've seen this with other people. I think, and like, I think I saw this on Tony Rock's Instagram or something like that, where it was like, some people are saying like that it was more of like a mental, like, I mean, he's like it's a thing that's not because of that. It's like a accumulation of all this stuff, and finally he kind of snapped. Like, because the whole thing is like people were always making fun of him because of his relationship that's been with his
Right.
wife, about how it's open and all this stuff, and so I
have
feel,
no doubt that there's many
So
factors that
of
go
course,
into
because
these things.
it's not a normal reaction to
Yeah.
go from there to that. So obviously there was some, it was more than that.
Yeah,
that was
and
like
it, and it
the
gets
thing that
heightened.
yeah.
Like all of these things heighten it.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, who knows what he's going through? I don't know. I don't know what to say. I hope he's maybe a decent guy, but I don't know how you come back.
No, I mean, I feel and this is how life is, which is interesting because it's like literally the guy's like 30 years been on as a star on the limelight, a celebrity, and pretty much done everything, movies and done this and like very successful and all this stuff, and it
was amazing too to be a rapper
and to be a rapper and move it. I mean, crazy.
And
So it's like, and then one thing, kind of like.
Yeah.
Not saying that his career's over or anything like that, but it's like, what sucks is like now a lot of people are just gonna remember that the first thing that they say or that they see. Well, if you see him in a movie or if you Google him, and
like the way you think about Mel Gibson when you see Mel Gibson in a movie, you're like, that's the guy who did the anti-Semitic rant to the cops.
Exactly. So. Which is nuts, like.
But I mean, Alec Baldwin, I used to always think, that's that guy who yelled at his ex-wife on the answer phone.
And
now I think of him as in
the guy. Well, he went up.
He leveled up, so maybe Will Smith can still.
Something.
So yeah, Will Smith could outdo himself, man.
Or if he says, or maybe he saves like a baby, like in a burning building.
Then it's all the way back.
And then he's went back to like, well, he did, like.
Oh, totally. Well, in fact, if
he can't be planned. He can't be a TikTok video.
Let's figure. What if he got a divorce? If he got a divorce, do you think that would win back fans?
No, I mean, no? What does that have to do with?
I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah. No, I mean, they're just, I don't think it has one thing or the other. I think that's just their relationship,
Yeah, but I just think people are obviously, but transferring a lot onto onto the relationship.
Yeah, but it is about that. I mean, because you see on the video that he was like laughing.
Oh, he was laughing.
I mean, politely laughing. Maybe he didn't like the joke, but he was like politely laughing because he's like, And
he was doing the thing that a humble, could we say humble, that a humble movie star should do, is like laugh at the jokes that are lobbed your way.
Yeah,
and it's ha ha ha.
And also people were saying too about like Chris Rock that like I'm pretty sure that, that Chris Rock being like such a great, comic that he is, iconic comic that he is, that he had no idea that she was suffering from that condition. Because
no way.
He would not, as a comic, we both know as comics, it's not funny to make fun of something that's like a disease or something like that. That's not funny.
And especially if the person is beating themselves up over it.
Of course,
you don't hit them when they're down, but you hit them when you can hit them with, it can help to heal.
Yeah.
Like I just remember I got dumped once many years ago, and a couple of my friends were over at the house, and then one of my buddies, and it was really fresh, and we were all like, the mood was sad. The mood was sad, so it wasn't like an awards show or anything. But one of my buddies, I think I said, "What should we all get for dinner? Let's order some food in or whatever." And my buddy goes, "I think JJ should pay because he's having way too much luck these days," kind of thing. And boom, just kind of stuck it in.
Yeah.
And it hurts, but it makes you giggle, and it actually does help.
Of course.
I didn't get up and slap my friend.
Well, also you're. Not that you're. I think also that's a thing that we also have to be aware of because we're comics, so we take that more of some people that don't think like us might not appreciate that comment. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Again, even if it's a normal person that's not a comic, they shouldn't slap somebody. Be like, hey, dude, I didn't like what you said, whatever.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying, man. I think because that's the thing that I also have to remember when I try to make a joke in situations that are not funny.
You're right, yeah.
Because again, you might find it funny, but other people might not find it funny because they don't think we look for the joke first, no matter what. So that one thing that I remember. But
I had that happen a few times with my Uber drivers in Grand Rapids and Green Bay.
Oh, really?
Oh, I think we totally did. We would make little jokes, and then the driver just
they didn't like it. Yeah,
doesn't. Yeah,
they just don't like.
And you can see they make a whole summation of who you are as a person for some weird.
So I get, but I think that what we were saying, I don't think Chris Rock had no idea because I don't think he would have said that joke about that if he had, if she knew, if he knew that it really affected her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Do you think Chris Rock? How long do you think Chris Rock would last if he had to fight Will Smith?
I don't know. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess it's funny because I don't know. You never know because I don't think it's sometimes about the size. I mean, if the other person knows how to fight or whatever.
I don't know what Chris Rock's been up to in his personal life,
Yeah.
but his movies definitely haven't provided him with any training. Whereas Will Smith,
Yeah,
has
but there
done-
was also people saying that it was like fake, and I was like, it wasn't fake at all because it's like,
whoever thought that was,
I mean, like you could,
contrived.
well, people in the moment you thought, oh, they're joking, because obviously like nobody would expect that, and even him, he was so like what, and I could see because I've been in that position when like something happens to you that is so like why, like you're like shocked, you're like you can't even move because you're like, what the hell did just happen? Did this person just like he even said it? All right.
Did you guys know that Chris Rock has a non-verbal learning disorder?
Is that
Oh
true?
yeah,
though?
apparently that's a thing.
Which causes difficulty interpreting non-verbal cues. So, like, as Will Smith was walking up there, doing whatever the fuck he was about to do, Chris Rock probably had
No idea.
Well, you wouldn't think that.
But
your
you don't.
friend
But I
is
would never
covering us
even
up here,
think.
but-
Yeah, I would never think. Even like if it was like even if you're like even if he knew that he got mad because he's walking mad and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He probably was gonna think he's like, oh, he's gonna like hug him or like, hey, come here, like don't say that,
Yeah.
like hug, like a jokingly like headlock or anything like that. But in a million years, he never thought it's like this guy's gonna slap me at the Oscars. Like what? Like that's why even like he was just, and then he even said he was like, oh man, I mean that's the restraint that he had was great too because it's like it was like kind of like wow, like I could just. He even said it. It's like I could, and then he just stopped. He's like, because he could have as a comic go right, and I'm glad he didn't because he would have messed up
I know.
his thing too, would have been.
Yeah, he could have put him down. He could have said, well, when Will Smith's like, keep my wife's name out of your
Yeah,
mouth,
yeah,
he could be
yeah.
like,
He
yeah,
coulda
you're
said-
like,
he's like,
sure,
dude,
but
yeah.
I'm sure your name's going to come up a lot in the deposition.
Yeah.
But there's lots
Yeah,
of
he
kind
coulda
of
said
lines,
something.
but he just kind of.
But it was the smartest
he was
thing.
a total
was,
pro.
Yeah, that's such a pro thing because at the end of the day, it's about he kept the show going.
Yeah,
You know.
because I felt angry for him in the moment.
Of course.
And then I was having those thoughts of like, he should like dig in and go, what are you doing, man? Or,
But it's so smart
but
to say
of
that
course,
because,
just-
and then now he'll eventually now write very, very funny material later on when
Yes.
it's like the whole emotions are out and then he can really
the
concentrate. on
jokes are going to be amazing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a joke in itself that he's going to go, what I can't do is tell you guys what I did because you guys know what I did.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
every other comedian's story, we always get to go, so then we get to put a little hero wash
yeah.
on it. And then I said to the bus driver or
Yeah.
whatever. But you can't do that when it happens on national TV.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's kind of funny in itself,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
circumstance. But I love how he doesn't have, I was looking through Chris Rock's movies, right? And he's never played an action star or anything.
No.
He once played a stand-up comedian who was in some action movies.
Well, he's a comic.
in that.
I mean, he's
comic.
a fully like.
Yeah, but Will Smith was a funny guy as well.
No,
And Will
no,
Smith
and even look,
transitioned into
no, but he's never
action
been a
films
stand-up
by
comic.
doing. Yes, but my point is, well, he came from sitcoms. He was still a comedy
but
actor.
but he's an actor at the end of the day.
Yeah. But I'm looking at the body of work of two older A-list actors in Hollywood, A-list for different reasons, And when you look down their movies, every second Will Smith movie would require physical training. He's fought robots, he's fought aliens.
Yeah.
He's been Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, of course. I
Like
mean,
and Bad Boys, because I remember in Bad Boys he transformed from that skinny Fresh
he had
Prince,
to get big.
put on
yeah.
20 pounds of muscle and everything, so he became that
Yeah,
stud. Whereas Chris Rock's like done Pootie Tang
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
Grown Ups
Yeah, yeah.
and Grown Ups too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, these are two very different men.
Yeah.
Chris Rock wouldn't storm a stage to try to slap somebody, even if he wasn't a comic who respected performance art.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, I even right now, even though it's past like a couple of weeks or something, I still think about it. I'm like, that's nuts.
Yeah.
That happened. You know what I mean? And then also the whole speech thing where he was like he like where he also like it was so weird too. Like to even first thing is like, hey, my bad. I should apologize to Chris. He didn't say that.
He didn't apologize to Chris.
I mean, later on, but he should have said it right away. Like, hey, I don't know what happened to me. I guess I got too stressed out through this whole process. I don't know what I did.
I think you summed it up really well there when you just said the stressed out thing. That's it too. I think that's how
No,
it
and that's what
manifests
it. Of
itself
course, it
as
manifests.
well. And you're right. He could have. That should have been really a moment of humility.
Of course.
Because I think people could have forgiven him if he'd have
And
said,
could have understood. Like, I get it, because I can understand how stressed out he can be the day of. If like, man, I'm gonna win. People tell me you're gonna win an Oscar. You're gonna get your Oscar. All this stuff and all, just a lot of stress, even if it's good stress.
I'm so stressed. Oh shit, Jada's mad at me. I better slap Chris Rock.
Yeah, that's how manifested, I guess. Well, so yeah, man, it's just it's unfortunate that it happened, man. But
so, and it's not going away. And I don't know, but I've had to block. I guess you wouldn't have the same problem that I had, but I've never had to block people really on my social media and stuff.
Why?
Like that. But there was a little bit of racism being thrown my way, as I think there was for some people. But when it's public, because I had to move some friends and stuff, I had to move them onto my DMs and just go, hey, you want to talk about in the
because
DMs?
They were posting in your
on
first of all, why?
Like there was, I think there's a few people that get misled by whatever their favorite podcasts are or whatever, NPR or whatever. So it was just like white men should not be commenting on the
because you wrote a joke about it or
Chris
something.
Rock. I was tweeting and joking about it all night, the night that I found out that it happened, because I don't have cable, and I was just sitting there on Twitter, making jokes and stuff. And then, but some people wanted to make it a race thing, which again, like we said, there's lots of elements that went into this, but there was only one violent act.
Yeah,
there was only one crime committed.
Yes.
So you can add up all your little proxy elements and arguments if you want, but they still don't come.
Yeah, because the argument, one of the arguments was like he was defending his wife. But like, but to me, my thing is like, yeah, he could have defended his wife with words. He could have he could have gone up to, like, let's say he goes up and then grabs the microphone and goes like, hey Chris, my Jada has alopecia, so please don't make fun of that. How cool would that be? I mean, people would be like, even like, oh wow.
The real smart thing would have been to just make fun of that joke,
or make
fun
of
whatever. G.I. Jane reference.
But he's not a comic,
dude,
so he was
you
not
really gonna try to
think
humiliate my wife over a 30-year movie reference kind of thing, or
something
whatever.
like that. Anything, it could have been anything. But like, the only way that I can understand that he would hit or use violence or something, if it's like literally Chris Rock was like, or another person was like grabbing her ass or actually doing something violent, then I think that's the only way that so I don't think that argument of like defending something's like, I understand the thing, but the way that he did it was wrong.
Yeah. So yes, and so that story was out there that it was about her alopecia, which it wasn't, but on top of that, I think that's why some people, including like white women, I had some white women as well, and like, I don't know, every race, I had about 5 or 6 people who came to my social media to say that I had no right, and I'm commenting as a comedian. I'm commenting
what
as
I was
a comedian
gonna say.
watching an assault, but on top of that,
that's what I was gonna
I
say.
have every right to fucking talk about an assault that happened on stage.
But
I've had a gun pulled on me in Manila once after a show.
Wow.
I've witnessed
after the show or during the show.
It was I got in a heckling battle during the show. And
in Manila, the Philippines.
In the Philippines, yeah. And then outside after the show, I had a gun pulled on me because of.
Wow, like what? Because of the heckling stuff.
Yeah.
Well, so what happened?
The 2 other comedians that were with me came and kind of cut it off, and
but what? Like that you were just walking out, and the guy just went like, "Hey,
no,
I didn't like that reference about what? What was the heckler?
No, it was the owner of the bar. Yeah. Had 2 security guards on the balcony where I was, and I think he was either married or dating the woman that was heckling. So he was now angry with me, and he snapped his fingers to one of the security guards, and the security guard came over and put his hand on my shoulder, pushed me up against the building, took his gun out.
Oh, fuck.
And put it against my head.
Jeez.
And he just started going, I could fucking end you right now for how dare you talk to my audience like that. And I was like, holy shit, I was being heckled by your audience. I didn't go up there and seek it out. So yeah, it was pretty.
Damn.
It's kind of intense.
that is intense as shit. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
I
Philippines are fun, man.
Damn. 2 drink minimum, or like 2 gun minimum, maximum.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's how I feel that. Anyway, as a comedian or as a member of society, we're allowed to comment on.
But
it.
I think it's more of a
I don't like
comedian.
these whole like watching an incident and then somehow it seems very American to me. Somehow dragging race into it or dragging something else that's a reach. It's a bit of a reach.
Yeah.
And overall, I really hate when you're I'm told, and it was actually one of my white female friends who told me this. Who was saying like, well, you shouldn't, because black women are the most picked on in society. And I was going, it's not. Whoever gets picked on each week, everybody starts towing the line of, well, they're the most picked on culture.
Yeah.
Right. Asians were like a few months ago when that happened, and I think the Asians do get a bad rap. I do think that this case is way down the scale of being a specific race related. Bald men get picked on more than balding women.
Yeah.
So to be told, I was told this by a white woman, of like, well, what you don't understand is, and I just went, look, I gotta stop you right there. You gotta stop saying to people, I've reached the same conclusion as you, which is that the slap was bad. But what you don't understand is that I know about this history when you don't. We all are privy to the same information. I've seen the same documentaries. Weirdly enough, a documentary about hair narrated by Chris Rock.
Oh yeah.
We've seen all these things.
Yeah.
We have the information. I don't need a lecture from somebody who's listened to NPR recently and wants to put me in my place.
Yeah, no, I think I see it as like you said, as a comedian, because that's also like what we do. So obviously we feel very connected to being on stage and being like, well, somebody is just they didn't like a joke and they're just gonna come and what's worse that you could do to a comedian instead of like doing anything physical harm or any heckling is leave. That's the worst thing you can do to a comedian.
You're right,
you leave. That's the worst thing you can do. That's where you hurt a comedian the most.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and leave without even
saying anything. That's the worst
you
thing.
Get up and you leave, because even if you say something, you're still giving the
giving
comedian
them,
a little something that they can work off of.
Yeah.
But if you get up and just walk out,
that's the most like tool that an audience can have.
Maybe do a little sniffle and a cry on the way. And then that'll really get the audience on your side.
It also, like when you say it's, as a comedian, it reminds me of that Seinfeld episode where he's mad that Tim Watley, the dentist, became Jewish.
Yeah,
and then
he's converted for the jokes.
Yeah, he's like, and then he goes he's telling a priest, and he's like, so are you offended as a Jewish person? He's like, no, I'm offended as a comedian.
Yeah, there it is. That sums it up right there.
It is kind of like that. It's kind of like, you're looking at it in the eyes of a comedian, not of like color or anything else. Is
Yeah, I'm looking at it as somebody who's witnessed these kind of things, and also who we should be offended by that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the fact that he at the end of the day, everybody he did wrong, even himself. So it's kind of like, so there's no excuse. Whatever his intention was, he went the wrong way about it. Even if it was to protect his wife, he still messed up. You know what I mean? It was a good intention to protect his wife, but the execution was wrong. And that's the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you cannot excuse that, even if he wanted to do something good. You know what I mean?
Oh, entirely. So Chris Rock hosting the Oscars next year.
Nah, I think at this point now, it's tough because also that's actually a great question, because as a comic, you wanna, those are one of the, that's kind of like the best hosting gig you can have in your career,
It is and it isn't.
Before,
because you never see any comedians really proud of it in retrospect, do you? Everybody's kind of like, I did that.
No, it's more like but it's more like you're in part of the club kind of thing, the Hollywood, whatever. But now, it was cool to do it because you're a comic and you want. But now like it's hard to do it because now you're like with this. It was like, what can I make fun of? And then as a comic, you don't want to go up there and do very like easy, safe jokes because then it just. Then you don't then you look bad as a comic. You look hacky.
Here's what you need to do, bud. You need to design like a survey, like a 1-pager with about 48 questions on it, like a doctor's, like a check-in at the medical clinic, and they have to be handed out to the audience beforehand. And it's everything that's related to one of your jokes. Like, do you suffer from xenophobia, agoraphobia, hair loss? Are you short? Are you fat? Are you a woman? And then, please, ladies and gentlemen, can you tick all the boxes on your checklist, hand them in, and then you're just sitting there backstage going, oh, that one's gone. Oh, that one's gone. Oh,
no,
shit.
then you can't have anything.
And then
because also, what's funny, too, is like, well, they did have 2 out of there were 3 hosts, so that and 2 out of were comics,
Yeah.
So it's like, and they also did worse jokes than that one. You know what I mean? Like when they were in the beginning of their monologue. So it's like, so it's like, I mean, but I don't know. I mean, I guess, hey, if I get offered to host the Oscars, I'll do it.
Even
I need the money. I'll be like, whoa, what's up? Hey, I'll be like, hey, Jada. I'm not going to say anything. What's up, Will? I'm not going to say anything.
Chris Rock.
Yeah,
man. There you go. There you have it, Oscars. Get yourself a Francisco Ramos host.
Yeah. Well, I think we're kind of like almost close to our time. I think. One thing is like finally we're back. We can start.
We got to
bringing
get in
more
a rhythm.
People. Get more more guests in.
Yeah.
As well.
We've already got one fantastic guest coming later this month, don't we? Because we're gonna get her in towards the end of the month. Very exciting.
You want to say?
Maybe we should just. Should we tell them? Or should
of course.
Carmen Morales is going to come in.
Nice.
So that's probably 2 episodes away now.
Yeah. And also I have a friend who's he's a very popular comic in Brazil. He lives in New York now. He's going to come here for the Netflix. It's a joke festival.
Right.
So he also he wants to do the podcast as well.
Awesome.
So like his name is Rafinha Bastos and he's great. Very funny, so he'll be great to be on the podcast as well, and also just get more, just to get also our episodes, back in every platform, so people can see them and listen to them.
Yeah, keep your eyes out. Those of us that are listening, I don't know what medium you're listening to it onto it. What medium you're listening to it on?
Yeah, but let us know where you can see it if you can, so because we have to know if it's not showing up on where you want to listen to your podcast, let us know.
Yeah, if it's not on Apple, iTunes, Italy, and you're sitting there, then we'd like to sort that out for you.
But as always, just remember to subscribe to the podcast in all the platforms that are available. YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, the main ones. Also, please follow us on the social media, Instagram, Standby Podcast, Twitter, Standby Podcast, all those as well as us. And for me, just quickly, if you listen to this before, I'll be in Miami this weekend performing. I'm also going to be in Washington, D.C. on May 5th, May 6th and 7th.
Awesome. Are you going to get a hometown crowd going then?
Yeah, I mean, the friends who are tired of not seeing me, probably come back, hopefully.
Do you feel that you have friends that are tired of seeing you now? Like,
I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of like, I just say it, but it's like, I don't like, if you want to come. If you don't, I'm not like pushing, like, again, if it was like a taping or something, I'd be like, hey, please come to this.
Yeah.
But I'm like, hey, I'm just letting you know, but you don't.
I know. You know what? We were talking about I was talking about this with Tony before the show, and we were talking about it upstairs. And I've talked about it with friends before about, like, I don't want my non-comedy fan friends to come. I like that they're still my friends, but they don't have to come if they hate. I don't know why they hate comedy, because comedy's the best, but they don't have to come. It's really weird when when you have those friends that like think that it's a mandatory. He has to be supportive. because I have a friend that did a whole ring around for a gig once and like dragged a whole bunch of people out. And then after the show, they were talking to me in the bar and they were like, yeah, so-and-so told me that we had to come to support you, that you needed the support you need. And I was like, oh, this is
then
the
you feel
opposite.
forced.
I want you to come out because you love stand-up comedy and because you feel no risk. But if I'm up there, that makes it actually harder for us. If we're up there trying to convert people to comedy, it's like forcing a religion on you.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think comedy is a thing that you wanna be in the right mood for. If not, don't go. Because you wanna be able to be, laugh and be cool, to be people talk to you, whatever it is, But I think I think with friends too, I always tell them because hey, by the way, I'm coming, but just whatever. And then, because then you don't say anything, and then they find out, and they're like, why didn't you say anything? And I was like, yeah, because I don't, come, and it's kind of like a fan. I mean, and sometimes if I tell mostly friends, it's more like, hey, let's hang out. It's not that much about hey, I'm coming for shows, but it's not like you have to come to a show. We can just go have a drink somewhere. Exactly. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's not about
you. We can catch up. And I'll be in town. Yeah,
I would say, when people, as comics, when we need people to come, we'll let you know. I feel like that's the thing. I'd be like, hey, I'm taping a special. I'm taping this. I'm doing this.
I need to sell out the Metro Center. It's a 10,000 seater.
Exactly.
I'm about 9,996 seats short. So
yes,
can you please come?
Yeah, exactly. That's when we're that's when we want you to come, even if you don't want to come.
That's when we need your support.
Yeah. But that's few, because we're not taping stuff.
Yeah.
Every show. So yeah. But just remember, those are some dates. I don't know if you have any dates coming up, or you're gonna be here.
No, I'm just here for the short term. I mean, that was a lot. We were just in Texas.
You were.
So you didn't even ask me. I was gonna ask you about this.
Oh, what?
Okay, so
all right.
So we were in Texas. We went to the Alamo.
What is that? Oh, is that like a cannon?
Yes, it's a cannon. It's not a.
I felt like
the way you said, "What is that?"
Because it looked. I thought it was like a whistle.
Right.
Come and take it. Come and take my whistle.
Come
and take my whistle.
Jeez, you made it weird.
It looks kind of like a whistle.
So I know you're right. You're right. It does look like a rape
but
whistle.
But when you said Alamo, then I'm like,
take
it's a cannon.
with a rape whistle up the top. That's,
okay,
that's,
I was just talking about.
It's a full message. It's right there.
I was just saying like a normal whistle. I wasn't mentioning the other thing.
I know, but I just paired it up with the saying, come and take it. That's offended somebody out there. Please don't send somebody after me to be slapped. But no, here's what I was going to ask you, though. So to me, this was a play on the come and take it with a gun, right?
Yeah.
It would be a gun, which would make it a right-wing gun owner shirt. I'm not a right-wing gun owner or anything. But does this still strike you as that side of the political spectrum?
Now that I see, I actually didn't even pay attention to what but now, I mean, it's still an aggressive no matter what.
Is it? Okay.
It's still aggressive.
Okay, see, that's interesting.
Because it says come and take it. I mean, that's basically you're already being aggressive of like you're starting something. It's like nobody's asking you to take anything, and you're like, come and take it. And you're like, what?
But do you know how hard it would be to take a cannon? Right?
Well, yeah, exactly.
So isn't that the?
Well, I think I'm talking about the actual Alamo.
Or is that just me interpreting it as funny? That's what I can't figure out. I was like, I find this hilarious.
Oh yeah, but
because you couldn't take it. But you find it more serious.
Of course,
because you're like, also it's a gun and it's just from the Alamo.
No, it's not even the gun. It's just the phrase, come and take it. It's just very aggressive. It could be anything.
Right.
Be like, come and, why are you even, who? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just comes out of like.
Well, I know that you're interpreting it as aggressive, but if it was a huge cannon, and I was like, yeah, come and take it.
I think the only way that it would be fun. No, but that's the thing. I think the only thing it's just very because the only thing would be fun if it's something that's so outrageous.
Yeah.
That's like I don't know, I don't know what else. I mean something.
That's what this.
No, it is about the Alamo. Yeah, but that's what I mean.
This is what strikes me as an impossible thing.
But I'm just saying that you're saying that people are gonna find it funny. Like no, I think people 9 out of 10 people are gonna be like, what the fuck? And then the other one's gonna be like, yeah.
So you think 9 out of 10 people would still think of this as the gun and would think that I'm talking about being pro-gun?
Not gun, but more like that you're like that kind of like thinking.
Yeah. because it wouldn't be the first time I've misinterpreted a shirt, but I like the way I interpret things sometimes, and that's how I interpret this because I've seen a lot of canons in my life, and I know how.
Let me put it this way:
impossible.
like if you go with that shirt to a rally, they'll let you in. They'd be like, "Oh, what's up, man? You're one of,"
See?
like
Yeah,
it's
sometimes you don't know if somebody's wearing a shirt. Ironically, this is so. When I went to the Calgary Stampede and I was about 15 years old, 14 or 15, so I was just discovering girls. And I didn't live in Calgary. I was living in Nova Scotia. And
you were discovering girls at what, 15?
14, 15, you know.
Like what do you mean? Like that you started liking them, that you realized that there were another sex in the world?
Yes, that's about the time I realized there was another sex in the world. Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, I was aware. I was aware that there was another sex in the world all my life, but until about 14, I think I just thought they had cooties, and so it wasn't until I was in that age where I now knew that they didn't have cooties.
Yeah.
And I maybe liked them a bit. I was out in Calgary, and I saw the shirt. This is what I did with this shirt, and it said, "Forget the bull, ride the cowboy." And I thought, well, this is a good shirt for me for a message to
get girls?
women.
Oh no.
Right?
Jeez.
But it's the complete opposite.
Of course
because,
it is. Yeah.
Well, no, because at my school it was interpreted very much as a gay shirt. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but they were like, "Forget the
I didn't even
cowboys."
think about
They
that.
saw it as a
that's
lifestyle statement.
Oh, got it.
Which I do feel that some of my gay
Well,
friends have
I
said,
think-
"Oh yeah, that's a lifestyle statement."
Well,
I was like, "Oh, I didn't think of it that way."
Well, we need to wrap this up, but I think you're as a rule, I think you should just buy shirts that don't say anything. Just stick to like cartoon, like just don't buy shirt. If it says anything, that's not for you.
Now, I'm gonna keep going, man. It's all down to my interpretation.
All right.
There you go. Send your shirts to the Standby Podcast at the Comedy Store here in Los Angeles.
Bye, hello. Have a great night.
See you guys soon.